Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Nonprofit Coffee Talk. My guest will be on momentarily, and I'm going to go ahead and get started, and she'll be joining in just a minute. We had a glitch, so she's coming on though. So, welcome to the Nonprofit Coffee Talk. Thank you so much for being here today and other days as well. I have quite a few regulars that show up. So, hi, Deanna. I sent you the link, so you should be able to get on. Um, I sent it via your email and looking forward to chatting with you. I will post it here just in case. So there you go. That's just for Deanna, not for everybody else. So let me go ahead and introduce myself for anybody who's never been on or doesn't know me yet. I'm Libby V, nonprofit champion and founder of Libby V and Associates. And through visioning, strategy work, leadership coaching, development support, organizational and board development, all kinds of other help, marketing, whatever you need, our nonprofit leader clients successfully raise more money and have more impact. But not all nonprofits can afford to hire a consultant. So I created the Nonprofit Coffee Talk and some other programs that we'll talk about here very shortly as a way to provide great content and helpful information to as many nonprofit people as I can. I hope you find this useful. I always want to hear your suggestions about who else we might have on the Coffee Talk in the future. Hi, Deanna. So please send me your recommendations about other guests. Or if you want to be on yourself, I would love to have you. So welcome, Deanna. I'm so sorry for that mix-up.
That's okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound
Awesome.
very clear.
Yay.
Welcome. So thankful to have you here today to talk about LinkedIn because this is a hot topic for sure. So everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Deanna Russo with Level Up LLC here today to talk about how LinkedIn doesn't have to cost a lot and how it can be fun because you get to engage with people. And when you relate to people, you will succeed. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So before I read your bio, I just want to say welcome and I want to say thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Deanna and I met quite a few years ago, and I have literally watched her build her LinkedIn from, I didn't know the numbers, but I could see the activity from 400 to 25,000. That's incredible. And she started Leverage Up to pass on that knowledge and help others achieve all the benefits that she learned just on her own through trial and error and learning and reading and studying. She has a very distinct strategy, though, on the LinkedIn platform that's made up of 3 parts that she calls her LinkedIn triangle. So it's made up of profile, engagement, and content, and you need all 3. And they're connected. They're linked, so they relate to one another, and you need all of them. So Deanna works with her clients to maximize the benefits of LinkedIn in the fastest way possible, getting the fundamentals down quickly for one-on-one clients, and she does that in 6 weeks. She helps her clients brand themselves and have conversations that lead to business without being salesy or spammy. And that I applaud because, man, do you ever get those like messages out of the blue that are like, "Hi, Libby, I am a web developer. I would like to know if you redo your web." Like, no, I don't even know who you are. Yeah, so all the time. It happens. So anyway, welcome Deanna again, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to have this conversation. So appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. So my whole journey on LinkedIn began back in 2018. And back then, the 400 or so connections you mentioned, I really treated LinkedIn more like an online resume. And I think even to this day, a lot of people can relate with that because even to this day, people are like, well, I have my jobs on there, but why should I go and spend any more time on there? And so It was a sales job that brought me to it, and they wanted me to bring in new business using LinkedIn. But what they didn't understand, and what I had to figure out on my own, was that we're not all vacuum cleaner salesmen, Libby. We're not all like going door to door and knocking on the door and trying to sell people vacuums. That's not the way it works. You have to get to know, like, and trust someone before you buy someone. And from someone, I should say. So it's really about building that trust and building that relationship. And so that's what I figured out on my own on LinkedIn, was how do we get to know people? And how do we get to like people? And how do we get to trust those people? And essentially, I figured out that it's about what you do on your profile, and how you brand yourself on your profile. But you can have a really good profile, but if no one sees it, what's the point of a really good profile?
I just have to interject. I'm sorry. This is beautiful, and I don't want to throw you off, but every time I think about like a cold, spammy kind of I think of an old Saturday Night Live skit. Deanna, have you ever seen that salesman that goes, he's a door-to-door salesman, and it's this big like character, I can't describe it, but somebody wearing this big thing, and yeah, it's hilarious. I should probably share it because it's worth seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is, it's so good. Okay, keep going. I didn't mean
no, whenever you can relate something to an SNL skit, I'm all about sharing it. It's like the Christmas one with Alec Baldwin, where he's teaching the elves how to sell, and then he slips when he's talking about it. That's a good one too. But really,
I had forgotten about that one. Yes, that's
it's a good one. It's in every single SNL Christmas special. Is that one? So that was a good one. So you can have that really good profile, but if no one sees it, it's just a really good profile. That's it. So visibility is a really big part of the strategy that I work with with my clients as well. And that's where commenting comes in. Because honestly, Libby, you could go into a networking event, and let's just say you walk into the room, you don't know anybody in the networking event, and everybody's going, so how does that start conversations if you're just like going like this?
Right? So that is so perfect. Like, it's just like being in person as far as your approach and how you engage with people. That's absolutely right. I'm going to remember that forever, walking to a meeting and being like it.
I don't know too many face-to-face networking events where they're all going like this. But when you react first, and then you move on to the next post, that's all you're basically doing to someone. Is if you need to start thinking about, how can I contribute to the conversation, or what can I say that opens up that door? And I just had a client tell me yesterday that commenting is leading to more calls offline. And I said, well, that's the whole point. That's why I do it. Ding, ding, ding. There you go.
That's the point.
Yep. That's why we comment first. And some people are easier to do than others. Some people are a lot more outgoing. But then once we get to the third part, then you might find an easy avenue or easy road from the commenting to posting your own content. And a lot of people struggle on LinkedIn with what is appropriate for LinkedIn. And really, life is appropriate for LinkedIn. Behind the scenes,
I'm so glad you're saying that.
For LinkedIn. So it's really just, you don't have to be super formal. It's not a place, as it was a long time ago, it's not a place for suits and ties. It's not a place for press releases. There's still people that are very treated as the professional network. That's fine, but professional is defined in different ways for different people. During COVID, professional was working on Zoom. It was doing virtual calls. And professional can be losing your job. And there's a lot of people on LinkedIn that are opening up about the fact that they just got laid off. And our goal as people on LinkedIn is to support them and to know that we're here to support you in whatever. And actually, I had a very good friend yesterday post about losing her job. And I sent her a direct message. Libby, I had a call like in 2 minutes. So I sent her a quick direct message to say, I'm here, whatever you need. And then I commented too. And she's like, my direct messages are blowing up. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you exactly what I just told you in the direct message so that the comment could be there. And maybe she would see that first. So it's really about, and that goes back to building relationships. So I've essentially said how I'm building relationships without actually using the word building relationships.
Yeah, that's so good. And it's, it takes a while, right? Like you just have, and you have to watch. So how do you know when to go in for the kill? I hate to use that term, but how do you know when to sort of take it to the next level? I mean, I feel like I probably wait too long. I'm not deliberate. First of all, I just want to own up to the fact that I'm not deliberate and intentional about using LinkedIn as a sales tool. I use it as a sort of sharing stuff and all that, but I'm not very intentional about it. So when you're doing that, like how do you know that it's your opportunity to say, hey, I can help you with that, or do you want to get on the phone? Or I like to help people and give away time and my expertise, but how do you know when to offer that?
There's different signs that people can give. For example, if someone is viewing my profile, I might direct message them and say, thanks for checking out my profile. Is there something I can help with? More times than not, people don't respond. But another key thing is if you're commenting on someone's post and they're replying and you've got you feel like there's a good conversation here, you can send them a direct message to say, I just really appreciate your post. This is why it spoke to me. And the worst thing that people could say is no. Yeah. So if there's a no, then you just get up and move on. But that's where commenting in a strategic way is important. So you're not just scrolling and guessing. You're actually, these are the types of conversations I want to have. And these are the people that I want to be in front of. And what I work with my clients is getting over to those conversations, essentially walking into a networking event. This doesn't happen, but it's the best metaphor I can use. You walk into a networking event and you see signs hanging from the rafters saying, these people are talking about this, and these people are talking about this, and going to those conversations rather than just searching by keyword and just connecting. Those people don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. So you have to go into and comment in a way that will lead to those. And like my client figured out very recently, it leads to offline conversations.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And I love the conversation about, what's appropriate. Most things are appropriate, because we're real people that go to work and we bring our whole selves to our work every day. We don't stop being partners or daughters or parents when we go to work. So thank you for that. And then I love this conversation, because for a lot of us, and Gary made this comment, thank you, Gary. And I'm going to ask Deanna your question too. I don't like selling. I like connection. I like engagement. I like, adding value. And this is the way to get all of that. It's to genuinely, authentically engage with people. And if you can add value, great. It's like, it comes together nicely, right? So thank you for all that conversation. And I'll give you a chance to comment on that. Yes.
if you're looking for conversation starters, one of the very first places you can look for a conversation starter on LinkedIn is someone's profile. If
Oh,
someone has a good profile, you're going to find something that you can relate to, whether it's in their headline or whether it's in their about section. I followed people just because they have a really good headline, and I've
oh
commented,
yeah.
I'm following you because your headline's pretty awesome. And not only is it a boost to their ego and it makes them feel more confident, but it could start a conversation.
I love that. That's so smart because I often go to people's profiles, right? And kind of notice their, or even just in a comment, I can see their title, right? Under their name.
Yep.
And sometimes they're really clever and stand out. It would be, I should take that next step and compliment it on it or, just give them some of my thoughts. That's great.
Right.
I love that.
And it's funny that you mentioned stand out because I'm actually doing an event on Tuesday because Libby, there's 875 million people on LinkedIn. 875 million. And if you think about it as a big pool of fish, you could go back to a scene from Finding Nemo or Finding Dory where all the fish look identical. And it's about standing out. So
Yeah.
if there are people that are listening that need some help on standing out on LinkedIn, that's the event I'm doing on Tuesday. It's
That's
1 hour
great.
on Zoom where I help people think about how each piece of your profile is making you stand out.
That's great, and if you wanna share that link, you can
Yeah.
pop it into the comments,
Okay.
and I will also make sure because I think sometimes the comments don't go to LinkedIn, oddly enough,
Okay.
so I will make sure that I put that in, the this episode's string so that
Awesome.
people can see it. Yeah, that would be great. I'm happy to share that. You are so good at this. It's why I invited you to be on because you add so much value, and LinkedIn is a powerful, powerful tool. You just have to know how to leverage it. Otherwise, you're just kind of like yelling out into the hinterlands and hoping somebody notices. So,
That's right. And you're hoping upon
yes,
hope. And
hoping.
believe it or
Yeah.
not, one of the things that a lot of people get stuck on LinkedIn is, oh, I got 200 or so views, or I only brought in 2 comments. Believe it or not, there are people that are seeing you, and we call them lurkers. They're
Yeah.
seeing what you're doing, and they're not going to say anything until the time is right. And so that's the one thing that you build up over time, and that LinkedIn is really not a sprint. It's really a marathon. You have to, I mean, when I started creating content on LinkedIn, it was every Tuesday and every Friday. And I kept that up for over a year. And so you don't
Wow.
have to be putting something out every single day, but you have to stay
Mhm.
consistent with what you're doing.
Yeah. 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 I think that probably, would you say that's like the number one suggestion is be consistent with it? Be there,
Yep.
be on there.
Yeah, I
Okay,
built
good.
that triangle for profile, engagement, and content. And if I was to expand that triangle to a square, consistency would be the fourth piece.
You might need to go from a triangle to a square.
Or trapezoid.
Oh, oh, trapezoid. I mean, you could get fancy, right? Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Trapezoid. So I just want to pull from the comments because I love the engagement of our audience. So
Yeah.
Dean Pulliam said, "I'm excited that Deanna is on. She's terrific. We know that. Yes, you are absolutely." And then I want to, yeah, people are kind of echoing what you're saying, which is great. So thank you for all the comments. And then Gary asked, I'm launching a new course and want to use LinkedIn without buying ads. Where do I go to find info on how to promote or boost my course offering? This is a good question because I wonder that myself. That's why I think it's a good question.
I think when it comes to getting more people over for your course, LinkedIn can be a tool in your toolbox. Do not put all of your eggs in the LinkedIn basket. So think about, how can I promote this on LinkedIn in addition to email marketing, in addition to my website, in addition to everything else that I'm doing? Because if you're doing it in every single place, then you're offering more variety of where people can find it. So, but on LinkedIn, your featured section, that's a go-to. That's where, I mean, the event that I'm doing on Tuesday, I've got it in my banner, I have it in my featured section, I have it in my about. So there's 3 places that people can find it where it's a one place thing and they don't have to go hunting. But then when I'm posting my content, I'm putting a link in the comments there too. So start to think about, if I want more people to find my course, where can I put it where people will easily find it and they won't have to search for it? But yeah, if you're doing content, it should be a go-to. And one thing that LinkedIn took away, they launched it in August, I believe, and then they took it away just 2 or 3 months later, was pinning the comments. They allowed you to pin a comment to the top of your post and allow people to easily get over to whatever link you had. Well, that was taken away. Hopefully, fingers crossed that it's brought back again. But that was one of the really easy ways. But you're going to have to use your profile in a way that people can find it easily and really sell it there. But like I said, don't put all the eggs in the LinkedIn basket. So make sure that you're using the variety of different sources of where you are for people to find that course.
That is great advice. And really, that's consistent with all the advice, right? I mean, that stays consistent with this, how to leverage LinkedIn as a tool. So that's great. I shared your everybody. I shared Deanna's LinkedIn profile where she has the information about the course. So it's there for you.
Yeah, so that you
So
can
thank you.
see how I put the event in there. The featured section is a really good place to use. When you're featuring things on your featured section part of your profile, think about, let's keep it minimal, because the more things you put in there, the less likely people are going to keep scrolling through it. So try to choose between 3 and 5 things to feature there. And obviously, once this event is over on Tuesday, I'll probably drop it on Wednesday. I'll probably take it out of the featured section. So keep that in mind, that make sure that the timely, but then my website will stay up there. It's an easy way for them to get over to my website, is in the featured section. So try to use that section and not like put too much stuff in it.
That's really great advice. And I haven't done that. So I need to do that. Thank you for that. And
You
everybody
got
else
it.
I know is very
Homework,
appreciative.
Libby, homework.
Yes, homework. We're getting lots of really positive comments. So this is resonating with people that are tuning in. So I appreciate it. So I
Fantastic.
encourage you to follow Deanna, because you can learn how to do it right by just watching what she's doing. And so that's a great way to learn. So like I said, I shared her LinkedIn profile. So hopefully you go do that, because
And one
she
of
just
the
adds so much
things,
value.
speaking of following, Libby, one
Yeah.
of the things that you'll see on LinkedIn is some people give you the option of following, and some people it's going back to connecting. And a
Yes.
lot of people are a little foggy as far as the difference between following and connecting. Well,
Yes.
follow is something that you turn on when you have creator mode. And that was something that LinkedIn launched about 2 or so years ago. And I choose follow when I'm seeing someone new for the first time, instead of connecting, because on follow, first of all, the first thing that comes to my mind is there's no limit as far as the number of followers you can have or the number of people that you're following. But the second thing is I don't always need to connect with someone. Connecting means I can send you a message. Like Libby and I were connected. We've been connected on LinkedIn for a while. So I'll send Libby a message if I need to. But you save those connections, because as I'm finding out, you get closer and closer to the limit of connections and followers. There's no limit. So creator mode is a really good thing to think about turning on if you haven't already. And another thing on your profile is think about that video. There is a profile video. If you go to my profile, you'll see that my static image turns into my profile video. And that's 29 seconds or less to explain what you're all about and to tell people why you're on LinkedIn and what they should be doing. And that's a really good way for you to move from the static image to, hey, I'm a real person and this is who I am. So that's kind of a low-hanging fruit. If you're looking to really put more resources into your LinkedIn profile, consider recording that profile video.
That's incredible. Video sets you apart for sure and makes you a real person, I feel like, versus just anybody could put a profile up, create a fake profile, right? I love that. I didn't even know that was an option. But right before you said that, I had, when I went to grab your LinkedIn, I noticed that you have a video in your profile pic. It's easy to do, I guess,
it's
right?
Super easy to do. Yep, super easy. It takes some time, especially if you're a perfectionist. You'll be like, yeah, I don't like that one. Yeah, I don't like that one. But keep in mind, we're human. If you make a mistake or something, or your hair looks a little bit out of place, you're human. You're showing people you're human, and you still care about about making sure that people know, like, and trust you when they come to your profile. So that's really the most important thing, is to just show your human side. And that profile video is a really good way to do it.
That's such a great point. And you're right, because also when people are perfect and polished and look, it's intimidating to all of us, right? And we think, oh, I don't want to reach out to them. They're just so polished. I don't know if they want to talk to me or engage with me, right? I love that too. I wanted to say that Amanda put this tip in, and I think this is another little tip that's really important to know. If you have an external link, not a LinkedIn link, but an external link, to put it in the comments, not in the post.
Yes, we talked about that. I talked with with Amanda about that just the other day. So when you're posting content, save the links, save any links for the comments part, because oftentimes the algorithm, when you're sending people away from LinkedIn, it's not going to favor the most traction for your post. So save all of the external links to put in the comments.
Great. And I have another question from Amanda here. Okay. I hear choose one platform and the focus master there, but I also hear leverage all your platforms. Could you help clarify that contradictory messaging? And then we literally have one more minute. It goes by so fast. So I invite you to come back, because
I'll have to come back.
Yes, please.
It depends on who you are serving. So for me and my entire customers and clients, they want to leverage LinkedIn. They want to understand how to utilize LinkedIn. So I'm not considering going on Instagram to bring people over to LinkedIn. I feel like I need to stay right where I am and post content and get more people over to figure out what the strategy is and help them with the strategy of LinkedIn. But if you find that you have a demographic and everyone is on Instagram, then that might be something to look closer at. So it's about who you're trying to reach and that demographic. And that would help you a little bit, because trying to be everywhere at the same time can be really exhausting.
Yeah, and I sort of go with, you know, yes, starting with one, getting comfortable, like, it's overwhelming to think about being on it all. I'm not on it all. I am kind of a Luddite about it, but LinkedIn and Facebook is where I've been, doing some stuff. Not very
Mhm.
strategically, but doing it nonetheless, doing something.
At least it's
Deanna,
something.
this has been incredible, incredibly helpful, and I seriously invite you back to have an encore and continue this conversation because people are soaking it in. Social media is it's the thing. It is the thing. The conversation was fantastic today and just exceeded my expectations. And my expectations were super high because I know you. So thank
Thank you,
you.
Libby. Thank you.
And thanks to everybody else who is out there um, joining us today. So appreciate you. And I do want to announce that next week we also have another amazing guest who will be on, Regina Alhassan. And she's going to talk about, she does prospect research for fundraising. So she's going to talk about prospect development, DEI, indus- industry practices, industry culture, and how we lead the charge to center generosity. And so I think it'll be a really good conversation next week as well. So thank you. Yes, and somebody said more, more, more. They want more of you. So we'll get back on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.